I didn't realize how much of my life I was waiting for someday until I ran out of some days. Some of us have these wake up moments that force us to stop pretending we have endless time. Usually it's something big, losing someone you love, a health scare, or an accident. And the scary part, sometimes that wake up moment comes too late. Someday thinking is how we push joy, creativity, actually living to the edges of our calendars. They get buried under emails and meetings and performance reviews. We only get glimpses of them maybe on vacation days or a rare quiet weekend. I don't want you to wait for your life to fall apart before you realize someday isn't guaranteed. So let me share how two 15-minute phone calls 4 months apart cracked my life open. Just 4 months before my layoff, my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer. I had spent 5 months watching her cough up blood, convincing ourselves it couldn't be serious. She was walking 1.5 miles every single day with me. How could it be cancer? But it was. Cancer is a tragic gift, cruel but clarifying. It's like a lighthouse cutting through the fog, showing you exactly what matters. From the moment of her diagnosis, my world rearranged itself. My mom became my first priority. I worked from hospital rooms, taking phone calls in bathroom stalls, answering Slack messages while nurses checked her vitals. I was frantic, trying to be the good daughter, the good employee, and feeling like I was failing at both. Those weeks after her surgery were some of the hardest of my life. Advocating for her, watching her recover, waking up to the sounds of x-rays and medication carts, and then opening up my laptop pretending everything was fine. The people who showed up for my family weren't the people who signed my paychecks. They were the kind nurses and doctors who watched my mom, but also watched me closely too. Caregiving changes you. It forces you into conversations about mortality most people avoid, and it made one truth impossible to ignore. I couldn't keep living like this. Caregiving didn't ruin my job. It revealed how misaligned my life had become. By late March, I was running on fumes, caregiving full-time while pretending to be okay at work. I didn't qualify for FMLA, and I couldn't keep going. So I finally planned to ask my boss about part-time hours, but the universe had other plans. That morning, my 30-minute check-in suddenly dropped to 15 minutes, and a second person was added to the call. And if you've ever worked in corporate, you know exactly what that means.
We regret to inform you that your employment has been terminated as of today. This is a layoff. We want to thank you for your hard work and dedication during your time here.
On April 5th, after 3.5 years, I was laid off in a 15-minute phone call. I didn't cry. I actually smiled. There was relief. Someone else had finally made the decision my body had been begging me to make for months. But relief is deceptive. My entire sense of stability had just been wiped clean. It wasn't just the layoff, and it wasn't just the cancer. It was the unraveling of an identity I had been performing for years. I had built my life like a tower, carefully, logically, safely. I believed stability came from being reliable, productive, the one who never dropped the ball. But what I learned in that 15-minute phone call is that the stability I built wasn't real. It was conditional, performative, external. This was the moment that everything I had been avoiding came to the surface. I didn't know it then, but this was the beginning of my life splitting open. Not to fall apart, but to finally make room for a life that felt like mine. I thought I was being patient and responsible, but really, I was postponing my dream life. I find myself putting parameters on someday. Someday I'll start YouTube when I'm better on camera. Someday I'll make time for writing again once work slows down. Someday I'll pick up pottery when it doesn't conflict with my work schedule. Someday I'll be location independent when I'm more stable. And someday I'll actually live the life I dream about. But the thing about someday is, well, it's always someday. I told myself I was just being practical. I had responsibilities, deadlines, a career I was trying to build. But looking back, it wasn't practicality. It was avoidance dressed up as patience. Perfectionism and fear convinced me that every beginning had to be a perfect beginning. I kept telling myself one day when things are more stable, I'll start living differently. But things weren't going to get more stable. I was waiting for a moment that didn't exist. Losing my job didn't ruin my stability. It ruined my excuses. All the things I was saving for later were asking to be lived now. Watching my mom heal inch by inch and day by day taught me that progress isn't linear. It's made up of small moments and patient presence. And caregiving forced me into a brutal honesty. Time is fragile, not infinite. I thought I needed to earn joy, earn rest, and earn creativity. I didn't realize these were mine to take, even in the middle of chaos. Everyone has something they're saving, a dream, a conversation, a hobby, part of themselves that they tuck away for later. Don't wait for crisis to give yourself permission. I stopped wanting to waste my life on waiting. At some point, I just asked myself, why not today? Not when I'm ready, not when I'm healed, not when things calm down, just why not now? These last 7 months became an unplanned creative sabbatical, just a season of finally giving myself the things I kept postponing. I signed up for a pottery class after years of saying someday. I returned to writing, revived my blog and near anonymity because it felt safe to try where no one knew me. It became my creative hideaway, a place to practice being brave quietly. I nurtured my garden through the blazing summer and into the quiet fall. I picked up the camera again. Not perfectly, not consistently. I rested, really rested for the first time in years. I moved my body. I let my mornings be slow. I traveled. I let myself experience joy without needing to earn it. And I took care of the people I love. I took care of myself too, which honestly was the harder part. The shift wasn't loud. It wasn't some dramatic reinvention. It was a gentle rebellion, choosing today over someday. Here's what I didn't expect. Losing everything didn't destroy me. It freed me. Caregiving for my mom and losing my job, these weren't separate events. They were two forces pushing me towards the same truth. I couldn't keep living like this. Together, they removed every excuse I'd been hiding behind. When the version of stability I built disappeared, I had to ask myself, what do I want my life to stand on? What actually matters to me? And what came up wasn't money or titles or proving myself. It was presence, contentment, creative expression, the things that had been waiting for me all along. I realized my dream life wasn't somewhere in the future. It was hidden in the tiny decisions I'd been too exhausted or too afraid to make. I'm not living a perfect dream life now, but I'm finally living my life, and that feels like the real beginning. If there is one thing I hope you take from my story, it's this. We all have a someday we've been avoiding, a dream we keep saving, a change we keep postponing, a part of ourselves tucked away for later. But you don't need a crisis to wake up to your life. You don't even have to transform overnight or burn everything down. You just need to stop postponing the pieces that make you feel alive, even the smallest ones. Because someday is just a story we tell ourselves. But today is the one we actually get to live. So use the good things. Start the hobby you've been daydreaming about. Book the trip you keep saying you'll take one day. Write the first paragraph of your epic story, even if it's messy. Take the class, send the text, light the candle, wear the good perfume. Give yourself permission to live today. You don't need to earn your dream life. You can start living pieces of it right now, even in the in-between. This was my turning point. This was the moment I realized the life I wanted wasn't something I had to chase or earn when I hustled hard enough or when I was perfect. It was something I had to choose. But recognizing that you're trapped in someday thinking is only the first step. So if this resonated with you, you'll want to be here next week where I'm sharing the 5 signs you're stuck in hustle culture and how to gently, slowly start shifting out of it. Thanks for being here, friend, and listening to my story. I hope to see you next week.